Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Cupid. Time for the week 6 recap of the Cupid Draft League Season 3 Part 2. Yeah, I think I said all that right. Sounds right. Yeah, okay. So, we are starting to get to the playoff picture. It's starting to become more and more clear who can make it and who cannot make it. So, it's going to be very, very exciting to see, what happens in the rest of these. That being said, let's see what we've got. So we have, Shadow King versus Silver Wolf first. And once again, John did not play his matches this week. He was not able to do them in time, even with the extension. So he had to tragically receive a loss for those. So, at least I believe he did. Let me double check really quick. Sorry, unprofessional to do this during a live recording or whatever, but yeah, no, he was unable to play his matches this week. Just made sure. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. First up, we have Shadow King versus Silverwolf.exe. And these two, I believe, are friends. I believe Silverwolf was brought in by Shadow King, to replace the person who was banned. So, yeah, here we have the first match. We have Glycopod lead versus Slowbro. Glycopod's going to click first impression and then start clicking spikes over and over again until its emergency exit forces it out. And that's going to result in Shadow King going into Aggron here. Aggron's going to take a whopping 8% from Psyshock, even though we have seen that this thing has Scald and also Fire Blast, which are two more effective moves than Psyshock that we could have clicked. Now we're going to click Fire Blast again, missing entirely, and why would we click a stab super effective move that's 100% accurate? Now we have decided to click Scald, triggering the Aggron's Citrus Berry. And now the Aggron is still clicking Earthquake, and we are going to lose in a 1v1 with a Slowbro to an Aggron. Now, if you don't know much about Pokemon, you probably think, yeah, that makes sense. Aggron's a big, scary, samurai-looking dinosaur thing, right? But then when you actually look at the statistics, you'll find out that Slowbro should never lose that 1v1. That being said, Lapras comes in, picks up the revenge kill by using a water type move of its own. Now it's going to start using Ice Beam on the Decidueye, as Decidueye goes for triple arrows a couple of times, picking up the KO on the Lapras. Silverwolf probably is not running a Defogger or heavy duty boots. In comes Chandelure to click Fire Spin, which is a decision of all time. Now we are going to have first impression crit on the Chandelure, do no damage, and then we get Flame Body burned and die to Fire Spin. And now Glycopod faints. Here comes Tyranitar to use Earthquake. Now here we should really go into Landorus Therian, but instead we go into Regirock. We take half of our HP from Earthquake, but then we use Counter, picking up the KO on Tyranitar. Excellent, KO maneuver there. And now here comes the Charizard, which is going to actually rightfully click Solar Beam here. Even though, why would you ever switch into a Mega Altaria? Now we're going to go into Landorus, which is a Pokemon that, why would you ever go into a Dragon type against a Fire type with no coverage for Dragon types. And now we're going to click Protect on our Landorus, and then we're going to take a Solar Beam here, and we're going to respond with a Rock Slide. Very powerful stuff. Now the issue is that our Landorus has taken enough damage to where it loses to this Gardevoir here. Gardevoir is going to come in and it's going to click Moonblast, and we will die and never get off an Earthquake. And now Altaria is going to come in, and despite the fact that this is Mega Altaria, even if you Mega Evolve, you're still dying to that Moonblast. Game 1 is going to go to Shadow King. Let's see what happens in Game 2. Alright, so we have lead Slowbro versus Aggron. Will Silverwolf make any adaptation whatsoever? Yes, I have noticed immediately that we started by clicking Scald, which is huge. We get a Scald Burn, which means we're now never losing this 1v1, but we get Toxic Poison for our troubles. Toxic on Aggron is definitely an interesting click. Usually Aggron leads are like, Stealth Rock, and they're like, sometimes they're choice banned for, like, you know, Rockhead powerful attacks, but it's okay. Toxic is a fine move, honestly, in my opinion, at least. Anyway, Slowbro does win the 1v1 this time. Golisopod's going to come in with First Impression, and for some reason, we're going into Lapras against it. We use an ice type move on a bug water type, which means it does no damage. Then we use a water move on a water type, which means we also do no damage. And Golisopod is just getting all the hazards. Silverwolf does not know what these hazards do, or why Shadow King is clicking them. So now Charizard's going to come in and kill this Lapras with a Solar Beam. Now, what is our response? We go into Regirock again. I mean, it worked last time, why would we go into anything else here? Well, Solar Beam, that's why. We just saw it use that, why would we put in a Rock type? So now Charizard's going to pick up another kill that it had no business getting, and we could have just gone into this Altaria in the first place. And now we're going to drop a Draco Meteor on this, for some reason, and do no kind of damage whatsoever, which tells me that this has to be like a minus special attack nature or something, because this is non-existent damage. Also, we are refusing to Mega Evolve. I don't know why we took 2 turns to figure out that we were Mega Altaria, but it's okay. Solar Beam's gonna kill from that range, and why are we clicking Solar Beam once again? Anyway, the sun's gone, so now Shadow King will never click Solar Beam again, right? You can't make this shit up. Genuinely. Yikes. It's okay though. Golisopod comes in with First Impression, doesn't kill the Landorus, and surely Landorus is going to use a move that kills whatever comes in, right? Earthquake? Please tell me we clicked Earthquake. Please tell me we clicked Earthquake. We clicked Earthquake. Huge. Alright, are we Choice Scarf? No, we're not. We've already seen that we're on Protect, which is a... why? Moment, you know? Why are we clicking Protect? Like, do you think this is the VGC and this is double battles and that Protect is a good move? Because it's not. It's okay in some situations, and the situations you clicked Protect in, it did actually nothing for you. Shadow King is going to get this win 2-0, and honestly, I'm ready to move on to the next match. Alright, very cool. Next up, this is a little bit scrolled further down than it should be. Sorry about that. We have Plasma versus Rudes. Rudes with this dripped out waifu. I have no idea who this is. It's Hatsune Miku. It's probably Hatsune Miku. Anyway, we're going to lead with a pretty standard lead here. We have Clefable with Stealth Rocks versus Tinglu, also with Stealth Rocks, and they both use that. We have a Fairy type move as the Tinglu goes for Ruination. And in comes the Toxapex to force out this Clefable at rapid high speeds. But Clefable instead stays in and says, "Give me your item." And Toxapex clicks Toxic on the Clefable, which proves to be Magic Guard, meaning that this Toxic Poison doesn't do anything, because it's immune to Toxic Poison, essentially. Now we're going to recover, and then we are going to switch, bringing in the Dragonite on the Venusaur. Honestly, great switch. We're going to get a Dragon Dance up, and since we have multi-scale, we don't really have to be that scared of this thing. We get Sludge Bomb poisoned, which isn't great, but it's okay. In comes Unaware Dondozo, and you can tell it's unaware, by the way. He confidently put it in front of this Dragonite that was setting up Dragon Dances. Alright, so now we're going to go into Toxapex to use Toxic Poison again, and that's just going to send in Venusaur immediately, and we do make the read. We go for a Scald. Do we get the burn? We do get the burn. Residual damage on this Venusaur is absolutely massive. We're going to use Baneful Bunker just to get, 6% more damage on the Venusaur. See what it's clicking. We see that it's clicking Giga Drain and then Earth Power. So we actually make the correct play on the switch and go into the Dragonite here. And Dragonite's going to click Earthquake to do very minimal damage. And this Venusaur reveals Synthesis, which means it's going to be able to heal out of our ranges. We're going to continue clicking Earthquake because I guess we just don't expect Plasma to ever attack or, stop clicking Synthesis or whatever. And that's fine, I mean, it works out because he just goes for an attack and he's forced out by the Danger Thunderbird, also known as Zapdos. We get a Hurricane on the switch, and that's going to land, and then for whatever reason we decide not to Hurricane again to pick up the kill on the Clefable, and we go for Thunderbolt instead, not killing and allowing the Clefable to use Moonlight twice. But instead, Plasma opts to use it once, and then go for a Moonblast, and gets the special attack drop, meaning it will get to survive anyway. Even after Leftovers recovery. I believe it survived regardless. But the special attack drop did help, because now it means Roots can't just click Hurricane again. And Roots honestly plays like such a coward. He really should just, you know, why are you using the non-accurate moves if you're scared of missing the non-accurate moves? Just take them off your Pokemon and use something else at that point. Like, make up your mind. Come on. You literally lost an entire match because you refused to Magma Storm a Bronzong with your Heatran. And now you're being punished for it as you don't kill a Clefable with your Zapdos, and now the Clefable's at full HP, your Zapdos is crippled, and you've accomplished nothing. Genuinely, make up your mind. You play like a coward. Like, fight, hit him, do an attack. Or don't use the inaccurate move if you're that scared, genuinely. Okay, anyway, at this point, we have Tinglu using Ruination on this Pokemon that has a recovery move, and we are going to see it use the recovery move, especially as it's going to suck the soul out of the Tinglu by using Giga Drain over and over again, as you've seen here. Very good stuff. Now here comes Scizor. Scizor is going to use Bullet Punch, and Plasma is going to be aware of the Bullet Punch and go into Talonflame, trying to fish for a Flame Body Burn, perhaps. We do not get one, though. And now we're going to go into Heatran, as the Talonflame is just going to say, nah, you know, let's get rid of these rocks. So now we have a Great Tusk coming in as we use Magma Storm, and look at that. Magma Storm connects, you do massive damage to this thing. Are we going to be too scared to click another attack? Well, it doesn't matter. We're slower, and it had close combat, so we die. Alright, are we going to go into, like, Scizor here? Yeah, okay. Are we going to Bullet Punch, or are we going to Sword Stance on the switch? Well, we're going to actually do neither. We're going to U-turn, which is probably correct, honestly. That lets us bring in Zapdos. But now look, see, we have the full health Clefable coming back in that we could have killed by clicking Hurricane 70% of the time. Now we have to use our Z move, and guess what? It survived that too because you let it get all the way back to full health. Look at that. Look at the consequences of your actions. There they are. Alright, so in comes the Great Tusk. It is being forced as a sack. Haxorus is going to come in, and unless we kill this immediately, which we don't since we click Thunderbolt instead of Hurricane, we can now lose this game on the spot. We click Thunderbolt again because I guess we're out of Hurricane PP, even though we have 15 of them left, and we let this thing scale shot us, killing our Zapdos, and like, why? We genuinely won this game. Like, you actually threw. Like, actually threw. Like, this is genuinely just a throw. Like, there's no other way to put it. But anyway, Rudes is too pussy to click fucking Hurricane, and as a result, he has lost the game, as you can see here. And that's crazy. Look at that. And he probably thinks he played perfectly and did nothing wrong. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Or, you know, if you were scared of missing the Hurricane on the Clefable, why didn't you Z-move then? You would have killed the Clefable back then. Instead, look, the Clefable is still alive. It is now the end of the game. Look at that. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? I don't think you see the difference. Do you think he sees the difference? If you're watching this video, chat, in the comments, please press 3 if you think he sees the difference. Otherwise, please leave a comment regardless. It helps the algorithm. Alright, on to game 2. Let's see if Rudes realizes that not clicking Hurricane was a mistake this time. Alright, so, is he gonna click Hurricane? Is he clicking Hurricane? Yes, okay, and he misses one. It's okay, that's the Hurricane tax. It wouldn't have done that much to this Clefable anyway, as we've seen last game. That being said, you know what we should probably be clicking instead of Thunderbolt? Switch to Heatran or Hurricane. You know, either of those works, because if you get a Hurricane confusion, it's crazy. But if you put a Heatran in front of a Clefable, usually the Clefable has to run away. But instead, we are going to just continue clicking attacks on the Clefable, because what the fuck is switching, am I right? Alright, so for whatever reason, Plasma decides to give up a Dundozo by going into Dundozo for free, and now we're going to Thunderbolt into an easy outplay, and we're going to Hurricane, and look, Hurricane lands and we kill a Pokemon. That's crazy. That's crazy. Are we going to click Hurricane on the Haxorus this time? Okay, we're going to click our Z move because we're really scared of missing, even though we saw last time that the Haxorus had Swords Dance and not Dragon Dance. If it was Dragon Dance this game, then that Z move makes sense, because after a Dragon Dance, it kills the, the Zapdos, right? That being said, 70% of the time you killed it with Hurricane anyway. Unless it was EV'd to survive Hurricane. Now Rudes is going to miss Hurricane twice in a row because he missed his chance to use Hurricane in Game 1, and honestly, this is deserved. That being said, however, Rudes does have a lead here. He's looking pretty good in this game against Plasma. He's going to try and roost his way out, and this Zapdos has never left the fucking field. Can you please go into fucking Heatran? Instead, you put in a Pokemon that is weak to Fairy in front of the Clefable, and we know that this shit does not have anything to hurt this Clefable. It has Moonlight. What are you going to do? Ruination? You're going to put up your rocks? Okay. None of his Pokemon really care all that much about rocks. And we're going to just lose our whole Ting-Lu for free, because why not? I mean, what the fuck is a Talonflame, am I right? Why would we want to ruinate the Talonflame? That doesn't make any sense. Our team with no Pokemon that cleanly beat the Talonflame in one hit, other than Zapdos, which we've already let get chipped to non-existent amounts of HP thanks to the Stealth Rocks that are now on our side of the field. Why would we want damage on the Talonflame so we can kill it easier? Anyway, Rude should recognize by this point that Zapdos literally solos Plasma's entire fucking team, and I genuinely don't know how he can lose this game. Okay, so we're gonna click Toxic for some reason. I guess we wanted to hit the Dozo with Toxic, but clearly that wasn't going to stay in. Here comes the Mega Venusaur. We're gonna Sludge Bomb on the switch, hit the Dragonite, and now we're going to just switch our Pokemon 27 times because, why would we do anything else? All right, so we're gonna land a Magma Storm, but we are not Balloon Heatran, and luckily for us, Magma Storm is going to fade on the Venusaur, and yeah, this is going to be not a Swords Dance. It's gonna be a U-turn, letting us get Flame Body burn. Nope, no burn. All right. Zapdos comes back in, and this is not... It's faster than the Talonflame. Oh my god. Does he click Hurricane here? He misses Hurricane. Honestly, you know what? Deserved. You see, here's what it is. Here's what it is. You miss Hurricane when you miss your opportunities to Hurricane. If you know what I'm saying. If you had a chance to Hurricane earlier, you would have been successful. If you wanted to play safe and, go for only guaranteed flying type moves and realize that, oh yeah, you know what? I could sacrifice some damage on my Hurricane to have an always accurate move. Why not run Air Cutter or something? Air Cutter's 95% accurate. Surely you won't miss most of those, right? All criticisms aside, Rudes did play this game better. I'm not going to say, amazingly, but he played it better than the last one, where he, didn't know how Zapdos versus Clefable worked. And would you look at that, the Clefable is still alive here. That's crazy. Well, luckily for us, we have Toxic, but this Dundozo most certainly is on Curse Rest. There's no way it doesn't have Rest. It's gonna go to sleep right here. Yep, and that's game. The Dundozo will win. It will take a little bit, as we have to wait for it to wake up, but, yeah, this Dundozo does win the game here. Rest, Sleep Talk. What's the attack? Liquidation and Curse. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we sacked our win con. We let it die. We didn't play our win con very well. It had Roost. We could have healed in front of this Venusaur. I mean, that's just poor usage of our resources. Anyway, we are gonna try and defeat this Dundozo, but Toxic has been reset due to the power of rest. So, Rudes cannot win here. There is no win for Rudes. There is no Rudes win in Cupid League Season 3, Week 6. There is no Rudes win. Anyway, we're gonna click recover. Dundozo's gonna rest here. Yup, there we go. He's back to full. And now we're gonna go into Scizor. And yeah, it's gonna take a little bit, but we'll get there. This Dundozo has Unaware, so these sword stances are inconsequential. Liquidation is the rip from Sleep Talk, and yeah, even if you were able to get all the way to +4 with those sword stances, you're not winning that battle, because Dundozo does not care about your sword stances. And yeah, it's gonna take a little bit. Plasma's gonna try and save time. He's gonna go into Venusaur on a Baneful Bunker turn. We're gonna start clicking Earth Power instead. Instead, we go for a Giga Drain. I guess we're not packing the Earth Power, even though we already saw the Earth Power. I don't know why we didn't opt to just click it. Maybe because it didn't kill from that range. But I feel like we should probably know that this is a defensive, physical defensive Toxapex by now, especially considering how little the Dundozo's liquidations did. Alright, so Rudes is defeated. Thank goodness for that. I don't think I would have been able to handle him winning that game. Next up, we have Antkiller versus Lionheart, and once again, it has scrolled down a little bit while I was tapped out, which is very strange. But okay. Alright, so Antkiller is going to lead with Victini and probably click V-Create. We have a counter to this by switching into Iron Boulder, which takes 50% from that V-Create, and now we should probably go into literally anything else. Now we go into Gliscor on Mighty Cleave, and we are going to get our Toxic Poison off, and instead of risking a second Mighty Cleave, we are going to switch out. We try to go into Latios as Antkiller predicts that and covers it with a knockoff. Ribombee is now going to come in and receive a Shadow Ball, which is interesting. And now we should be going for probably just Sticky Web, right? But instead we're opting to use Bug Buzz because we're so scared of the Latios that we want to kill it immediately. Now Antkiller is just clicking every super effective move on the Pokemon in front of it instead of using what Ribombee is known for and setting up Sticky Webs. So we click HP Fire on the Mawile, we don't kill it, and we die. Now we are going to go into Gliscor and click a super effective move on the Mawile that was in front of us as we just go into the easiest Latios switch of our lives, as this is literally the switch he made last time. And instead of making a prediction, we could have probably used Knockoff again, you know? Or we could have used Knockoff, making a predicted move, but instead, you know, we are going to not do that. And, you know, instead of thinking about what our opponent is doing, we're thinking about, my opponent is a NPC from Pokemon Violet, and they don't switch. But no, that's just not the case. Anyway, Kamoa is going to use Clangorous and Flamethrower here, and we're not on Throat Spray, which is an interesting pick. Usually you want to be on Throat Spray if you're going to run this set. We survive a Psychic very closely, very good stuff, and Como with the boost is very terrifying, but guess what? This has Sucker Punch, and we are going to die to it. Let's go. Now what do we do? What's our plan? We go into Gliscor, are we going to click Earthquake again for no reason? Oh no, we roosted this time. Okay, that's kind of a predictive move. That's more of a middle ground though. And we let in the Pokemon that Lionheart has put in front of this Gliscor every single time. And we could have clicked Knockoff on any of the times other than the first one and killed it. But instead, it kills our Gliscor, and our defensive solution to the entirety of Lionheart's team is now dead, and Tapu Koko is going to come in and click electric attacks until we are dead. And that is literally how this game ends. That being said, we do get to pick up this kill here, which is very, very cool, but who cares? Like, look at this. Look at this. We can Sucker Punch this because we know it's Choice Scarf, and Antkiller ain't switching into Victini because the Ditto comes in and dies from spikes. Now Victini is going to come in, and guess what's going to happen? We're going to Sucker Punch again, and it's dead. Alright, very cool. Game 2. What the fuck is a prediction? Am I right? Alright, game 2. Alright, we lead Goldango this time. And we have a Skarmory on the other side of things. Skarmory is going to go for a Spikes. And this Goldango is just going to Nasty Plot and start clicking Shadow Ball instead of using something like Substitute. This is an interaction of all time. That is a Night Slash Skarmory for the Goldango, and the Goldango predicts Night Slash Skarmory and has a Colbur Berry. That being said, in comes Latios to use Shadow Ball. Goldango survives it and kills the Latios as well. Now we have a U-turn. The Tapu Koko is coming back in later. In comes Iron Boulder with the Quark Drive boosting its speed. And we decide to go into Ditto here. And we don't have the Quark Drive. And we're going to use Throat Chop. And then he's going to use Throat Chop. And we're going to die to it because Ditto has less HP than Iron Boulder does. Very cool stuff. Now, why didn't we just go into Gliscor in the first place? Instead, we sacked our Ditto. Like, did we expect to just kill? Anyway, now we're going to roost at full HP. Instead of making an Earthquake move, because every Pokemon alive on his team is weak to Earthquake, and then we defog off the rocks for no fucking reason and lose the battle on the spot. Like, what is this? Alright, so we V-create off that Victini, right? In comes Quark Drive. You got anything for this? You got anything for this? Mighty Cleave, you got anything for this? Do you have a Pokemon? Where are those who survive this attack? And now we're gonna just start switching around 16 times as well. I guess we wanted to get off the Life Orb or whatever, but now what? Now what? This thing comes in and clicks, like, Play Rough, if he's packing it. Alright, we survive Earthquake unboosted, because Como is not very strong. That's ×4 super effective Play Rough. And honestly, we could have clicked Play Rough the first time, because unless this Victini goes for V-Create, you just kill it. But, you know, I guess it makes sense, because you knew the Victini was choice, because Antkiller hasn't done anything other than choice Victini. And, yeah, if the Victini stays in, it just dies. But clearly he's going to try and save it because he thinks that's his win condition instead of the Gliscor that had super effective Earthquake, super effective Earthquake, super effective Earthquake, ×4 super effective Earthquake, and super effective Earthquake, while also being, you know, immune to electric and, you know, resistant to steel, resistant to poison, and, you know, just walling this thing in general. Like, Antkiller does not recognize what his win condition is when his opponent has 4 Pokemon that die to Earthquake on their side. Very cool stuff. Next, we have Ryevji versus Otto. Ryevji with the Florges. I don't think Ryevji has brought this one before. Anyway, here comes Pelipper lead. We are going to keep our Pelipper alive as Otto is so fixated on using Meteor Beam Nihilego. And Ferrothorn takes a lot of damage from that, believe it or not. And we're going to go for Leech Seed, and Trick Room is going up here, which is strange, but respectable. It's really good against Rain, and Ryevji is just not prepared for that. Now here comes Gallade to threaten the Ferrothorn, obviously. We're going to use Protect to see what the Gallade is opting for, and if he had Sword Stance there, Ryevji would have probably died. But instead of having that, we just don't. Now here comes Florges to take a Sacred Sword and lose half of its HP due to Sharpness and low physical defense. Frosmoth is going to come in as Florges goes for Calm Mind, and is this Calm Mind versus Quiver Dance? Anyway, we're using Synthesis in the Rain to only heal 25% of our HP. And now Tapu Lele is going to come in as we are going to just ditch the idea of using Frosmoth against this entirely. Now, instead of setting up with Frosmoth, we're going to start setting up with Tapu Lele and get our special attack dropped, and we're going to use Extra Sensory instead of, you know, Psyshock, which is a good prep to have against Florges. Because Florges' special defense stat is base 154, and why would we want to use an attack that hits the physical side of things into it? Now Frosmoth is Calm Mind for some unexplainable reason, when the Pokemon gets Quiver Dance. I guess the idea was Frosmoth and Trick Room, but let me tell you something about that right now. That's dog shit. Don't use that. Anyway, we're gonna try using a stored power here, and Frosmoth takes non-existent damage due to the fact that Frosmoth has the ability Shield Dust, I believe it's called. But no, it's Ice Scales. And we only take half damage from special attacks. Anyway, after we go all the way to plus 1,000,000 for no reason, we use one Ice Beam and lose our Frosmoth because we don't have a recovery move for some reason. Now we go into Nihilego and die to stored power, and all of our other Pokemon should die to stored power. Moonblast, yep, dead Maractus. Guess what? Here comes Kiruim for some reason. You know what this dies to? A fairy type attack. Why are we using ancient power? Well, that's dead. And, that's gonna be a 6-0 unless, no, we're faster. And, yeah. Yeah. Well, why would you go to plus 1,000,000 if your opponent just does it better than you do? Why would you try and do that? Why not pressure the thing and not let it get to plus 1,000,000? I don't understand. Anyway, here's game 2. Game 2. Alright, this time, you know, hopefully we don't just get 12-0'd by Florges, right? Ryevji leads with Barraskewda and uses Scale Shot because I guess he wanted to make this one interesting. He rolls the 5, boosts the speed of the Barraskewda, and he uses it again. 3, 4, yep, there we go, dead Maractus. And this thing is very, very fast, and it also dies in one hit, as it already does. Anyway, we're going to use Liquidation on Tapu Lele, not realizing that the rain is not up and we don't do any damage, but luckily for us, Otto thinks Tapu Lele is way bulkier than it is, and it's going to just die to two of those, 2 Liquidations. Now we're going to Liquidate on the Power Herb Meteor Beam Nihilego, because we only really have the 1.5 Brain Cell to make the set over and over again. And finally, a Pokemon survives Liquidation, and we are going to kill this Barraskewda with a Leaf Blade. Alright, so now we're in this situation again. Alright, and Ryevji is going to switch and go into Pelipper for some reason I couldn't explain. And Frosmoth is going to get up a Quiver Dance, and it's going to just use Ice Beam raw into the Swampert, and Ryevji is going to Mega Evolve here and kill this with Liquidation in the rain. Very good stuff. Now, Kiruim comes in, and we can save our Swampert, honestly, but we're going to just use Brick Break and die to Freeze Dry instead. Very good. I love that for Ryevji. Now, Florges comes back in, and is this Corkscrew Crash? No, it's Sub-Zero Slammer, and we are still on a special attack. Because when we have 130 in physical and special attack, and we see that our opponent has a Florges, why would we run Iron Head? Why would we do that? Anyway, Florges is also going to kill the Gallade in one hit by being faster, which tells me that this Gallade has never been max speed in its life, despite the fact that that is Mega Gallade, and Otto just refuses to Mega Evolve with it, which is another shining example of the level of play that we have in this league. They are very, very special players, that's for sure. Alright. Next up, we have Jingle versus Light Rebo. Will Light Rebo ever win a game? That is the narrative here. Light Rebo leads with the Furret, as he always does. He clicks Super Fang turn 1, as he always does. And now Jingle is going to use Calm Mind. Now Light Rebo is going to switch into Latias because he's decided that he does not want to play like an NPC that plays the same thing over and over again. And now Latias is going to use Future Sight instead of Heal Pulse, which is already an improvement over last week. Alright, very good stuff. Now we have the Sceptile coming in when both of its types are weak to both of the Enamorouses types. And now Ingle is just going to set up to plus 1,000,000 for no goddamn reason whatsoever. He really does not need to do this by any means, but, you know, he has decided to also go for an Iron Defense. Alright, Swampert's going to come in. You know what this does? You know, it might have Toxic, right? You know, usually Swamperts have Toxic. And Toxic is very good against Pokemon that's set up to sweep. But no, we have Avalanche and Ice Beam for some reason. And now we're going to Calm Mind again. And, where do you think this is going? I would love to know where you think this is going. Because if you can't see it, you might need to go to the doctor, because I don't think you can see. Because this is over. This game is over. There's nothing here that kills this. Like, even if the Swampert decides to pick up a crit, it doesn't kill. But now we have plus 1,000,000. Alright, very cool stuff. Draining Kiss time, Poison Jab. Okay, if that crit, it might have had a no, it didn't. It didn't have a chance to kill. It wasn't even close. Anyway, that's an Earth Power. Here comes Furret. Guess what Furret can do? It can half the HP. We're gonna Calm Mind again for some reason. Why? Why did we need to Calm Mind again? Are we doing the thing that I suggested Light Rebo do and rolling the dice to click a random move? Is that what we're doing? Well, Draining Kiss kills there. And are we gonna roll the dice again? No, we're gonna just kill the Garchomp. And Ingle is going to pick up a 6-0 in the first game. Alright. Surely Light Rebo will be able to get a game in the second one, right? Or not a game, maybe, but like at least a Pokemon. Alright, here comes Enamorus again. And once again, Light Rebo leads with Furret and clicks Super Fang. Literal NPC behavior, by the way. Now we use Blizzard and Whiff entirely, because Furret should never be clicking Blizzard anyway. Now we're going to heal to nearly full after one Calm Mind, and Furret is Shell Bell. That's cool, I guess. Now we're gonna get up another Calm Mind, and are we faster than the Swampert? Does the Swampert have Toxic? The answer to those questions is no. But we do survive Darkest Lariat with relative ease, due to the fact, you know, we're a Fairy type, and we resist Dark. Anyway, now we're gonna kill that Furret, and here comes Thundurus. Okay, we're gonna use Thunder Wave instead of an attack, because why would we attack? Now we're going to use Dark Pulse instead of an Electric type attack on our Electric type Pokemon that hits a Flying type super effective. And then we use Volt Switch because we don't have any other Electric type attacks probably. And now we go into Swampert and take a bunch of damage. Very cool. Swampert doesn't beat this as we've already seen last game. And now that we've paralyzed it with fucking Thunder Wave, you know, now we can't even Toxic Poison it with our Pokemon that should be running Toxic, but probably only has 4 attacks anyway. And due to this, Light Rebo is going to lose once again to this Pokemon, unless he can get, like, multiple crits. Draining Kiss, heal to full, kill this thing, yeah, okay. Draining Kiss, kill whatever he sends in, heal to full. Okay, well, Swampert takes it pretty well. That's good. Congratulations, Swampert. It's going to use Ancient Power, trying to get the boosts. Does not get the boosts. Dies to the next Draining Kiss. And this is a 12-0. Actually just gets 12-0'd by this thing. Now we're going to use Brick Break because it ×4 resists Brick Break. And we have no other moves that do damage to this, apparently. And, yep, there goes the Sceptile. And, there goes the Blaziken after it defogs for no hazards. And there goes Thundurus. Yeah. And we get a Volt Switch crit! We don't get a 12-0! Huge! Wow! He did it! The 12-0 has been prevented! Anyway, here's the signature move, because we decided instead of clicking a Dark Pulse that we would click Thunder Wave again, because Thunder Wave is the solution to all of our problems. Light Rebo, probably. Very cool. I don't want to watch any of those games ever again. And on to the final match. We have Spirit or Aran, whichever you prefer. Dripped out, honestly. Dripped out. Mr. Titan T is a clown. And we've got game 2. Or game 1. This time we lead the Bronzong against Corviknight. What's gonna happen here? We're probably gonna use Stealth Rock. In comes the Hatterene. Here comes U-Turn. We're gonna get in Lopunny. Okay, I guess we're gonna Mega Evolve and Quick Fake Out. We're gonna use Endure here, which is spicy. But that's not a Lopunny at all. And now we are going to Cut, Stab, Berry, kill the Zoroark. Very cool stuff. Anyway, was it worth it? It's hard to say. Roaring Moon's gonna come in, kill off the Hatterene, in comes Dragapult. We are gonna set up a substitute, and if we're sub like Will-O-Wisp, we could be going crazy here. Sub Dragon Dance is maybe good here, depends on if it's Ghost DMZ with the, powerful attack. And we're gonna let ourselves get hit by a Brave Bird to eat its Lychee Berry to boost its attack, and that does the perfect amount of damage, honestly. Anyway, we're gonna use Phantom Force for real, and this is just going to force in the Lopunny, which, bad news for Mr. T, when it Mega Evolves, it gains the ability Scrappy. So now all those Dragon Dances and our Lychee Berry are just gone. So we really should have been on Ghost DMZ, unironically, like I said. That being said, we weren't. We did not prepare for that properly, and, yeah. Look at what happened. Alright, so now we are going to get tricked, and now our Clodsire has a choice specs, which means we lose the game. We're going to use Yawn, which does nothing. And now here comes Zeraora to die to Earthquake from Roaring Moon, thanks to Trick Room being up. So why did we decide to set up Trick Room in our fucking Dragapult Zeraora offense? Why did we do that? Where is the logic? There isn't any. Spoiler alert, these are Mr. Titan T is a Yu-Gi-Oh player. There is no logic there. Yeah, so I really don't know what else to say here. Look at this. Ogerpon. There it is. It's using a Sword Stance. It's using a Sword Stance. You know what it's gonna do probably? Use Ivy Cudgel. Ah, now we got Horn Leech. Okay, that's a very, very dead Tapu TD. I mean, Horn Leech this too, yeah. Okay, we have Gong Shot, which doesn't do any sort of damage. But Spirit decides to respect it. And we go into Corviknight. And honestly, we could have just kept attacking, you know. Horn Leech heals us out of the range of the next one. And not only that, we are faster, so we get 2 Horn Leeches off before it gets off 2 Gunk Shots. But it's fine. We're going to use Knockoff, kill the Bronzong after some switching around. Here comes Dragapult. Guess what Dragapult does? It probably clicks Dragon Darts. Yep, and Corviknight just beats this, as well as the Clodsire in the back. Good stuff. It's going to take a little bit to defeat the Clodsire, but it has no moves to hit the Corviknight, so, you know, we just sort of gotta wait for it to happen. And there we go. Alright. Game 1 goes to Spirit, unsurprisingly. Game 2. What do we have? What do we have for Game 2? Well, looks like the same team's brought on this side, but this time, now we have, you know, we have Smeargle and Hatterene, and we also have the Bear. The Bear has made an appearance. Are we going to set up Trick Room and then send in our fastest Pokemon in the game? Or are we going to maybe not do that again? We will see. Lopunny is the lead here as Zeraora comes in, and Zeraora is faster, so it's going to take the Fake Out, and Lopunny's got to switch, because it will die if it stays in. We just go for Plasma Fist. It's not really making a predictive move. We are going to ship this Rotom for a lot of HP, honestly, and then go into a Pokemon that we've already seen get tricked before. And this time we're going to give the Rotom a Black Sludge, and Black Sludge is going to do 12% to the Rotom, which is nice. Now we are going to go into Zeraora as the Corviknight is brought in on the Clodsire, and we're going to knock the Black Sludge off the Rotom instead of using Plasma Fists. And now we're going to just click Knock Off again and pick up a KO. Here comes Ogerpon. We do need to respect this. and we decide to do so by going into Clodsire, which is going to, get Horn Leeched now, and we are going to use Yawn, and are we going to stay in? No, we are not. We're going to go into Lopunny as Yawn is used again, as we know that this Clodsire is trapped into this one move, and Mr. Titan T is just clicking it. He's just clicking it, He's just clicking it. He's just clicking it, He's just gonna keep clicking it. He's clicking it. He's just clicking it. Like, what's a defensive switch? Like, why would you keep this Clodsire alive? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to keep your Clodsire alive? Well, he decides, yeah, actually, you know what? I do want to keep my Clodsire alive. Let me just take 75% before I switch it out, and then let my Zeraora get chipped by U-turn into Fake Out into switch into Ogerpon. Now, we were faster than that, and we could have probably gotten away with attacking, but based on the fact that this Ogerpon just used Horn Leech, we were faster. So, like, why did we switch? Are we like locked in? Are we choice banded? Well, we decided to switch here because we wanted to keep our Zeraora alive, which makes sense. Now we are going to take a bunch of damage on our Hatterene and probably set up Trick Room, right? Yeah, why? Where is the logic? We just Trick Room into Healing Wish, full heal our fucking Zeraora. We have Zeraora in Trick Room. Do you know how fast this Pokemon is? This Pokemon has 423 speed. Everything that has less than 423 speed will go first in Trick Room. Why did we do that? Anyway, we have one effective turn of Trick Room there, instead of, setting up our fucking own demise, and we finally go into the goddamn Ursaluna to get one KO and then let it die to the Lopunny immediately. Because we are so preoccupied with the Zeraora and Trick Room strategy that we've decided to just lose the game instead. Anyway, Zoroark dies to Plasma Fist there, which is actually really huge. Mr. Titan T needs to recognize that Lopunny survives this and kills us back. And now we don't have our electric type for the Corviknight. And are we on the same set again? Are we still on Dragon Dance, Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, and Substitute? Well, probably. Yeah, this Dragapult needs to be Ghostium Z if it's ever going to have a chance against Corviknight. But since it is not, you know what's going to happen here? Mr. Titan T is going to lose due to the fact that this thing is Choice Band Dragon Darts. There's a reason why people don't use physical Dragapult, and it's because it's shit. I hope you recognize this now. Anyway, Spirit's going to get the 2-0 win over Plasma, and that is all of the matches from this week. Like I said, John Gold did not play this week, and that is the match that was against Uzoria, meaning, we are missing that match for the Week 6 recap. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all survived the fucking violent tongue lashing that you received due to the fact that your plays have been absolutely atrocious. I will see you all in the next recap, or whatever next YouTube video you watch. Later.